Hounds. Welcome to episode 23 of Things That Go Bump in the Night. Once again, joined by my co-host Chris. How you doing, buddy?
Good evening. I don't know. I thought I'd try and bring an air of sophistication.
Yeah, that was very sophisticated.
Actually,
it was like a good horror audio book. It was like the start of one of those. I like it.
It began when they listened to the podcast.
Yeah.
Actually, I could do with your advice. I'm looking to plug a gap in my horror repertoire. Ooh. And I want to know if it's worth it. And I was going to watch it tonight. The Taking of Deborah Logan.
Oh, yeah, it's very, very much worth it. Yeah.
Do you think I'd like it?
Yeah, I think you would. Yeah, it's a nice twist on possession. There's a bit more to do with it than that, and there's some great. There's one great scene in particular you probably have already seen because it done the rounds everywhere. But it's when you see it in the context of the film, yeah, it's really great the way it comes about. Some really great stuff, really creepy performance as well.
Is that the snake jaw?
Yes. Scene? Yes, it is. Yeah,
I mean that was shown very early on, wasn't it? I mean, to be fair, it's probably what got all the attention as well. So yeah, I think
definitely.
I think I'll give that a whirl tonight.
Yeah, definitely watch it, man. I don't know why for the English release, they changed the title to The Taking, which is why get rid of The Taking of Deborah Logan? That just sounds so much better to me, you know.
Is that so? Sorry, say that again. So in the English title is The Taking.
Yeah. So The Taking of Deborah Logan. It was originally released as, I think it had a brief theatre run as The Taking of Deborah Logan, but when it was released on VOD and stuff like that, yeah, now it's just The Taking. So if you, which you probably are going to watch it on Amazon Prime, you will notice that it is titled just The Taking, which I don't know why people do that.
I don't know why they do it full stop. I remember I was looking for another film, wouldn't say it's horror, but it's got some scary moments, is the Heath Ledger Sin Eater.
Yes, yeah.
And that changed title to something really bizarre. It was I can't remember. Let me just have a quick.
Yeah, do it. Yeah.
The Sin Eater, and it's like nothing you would expect. The Order. That's it.
Oh, okay. I mean, completely different. Yeah. I don't know why. Distributors. I do know why they do it. They do it because of some titles they believe are easier and they grab an audience and sell a DVD quicker. But a good unique title, I think, will always stand out above just the generic crap you see all the time. But then that's the same with poster art, right?
Yeah.
I put a tweet out a few weeks ago about there were 3 films released, very close together, and the poster art was all the same. It was all the same, and it was all like changed from like really cool original poster art. But apparently the distributors do it because people just buy what they know, and they buy the same thing all the time apparently. So yeah, it's quite frustrating when they do that. But yeah, when you look for it tonight, look for The Taking. But yeah, it's a very good film regardless of that title change. But yeah, you will enjoy it, sir. You will.
All right. Well, Mrs. S likes it. She doesn't like horror films.
I think do you know what? I think there's enough in there. I think there's enough in there for her to really grab onto it.
I mean, she says she doesn't like horror films, but she's really enjoyed things like Becky and Come to Daddy.
Oh, it's not like that. It's not like they've got like a comedy slant to them.
That's the kind of thing that she.
Oh yeah, they're great.
I don't think she really likes any kind of possession kind of.
She might be in for a treat then.
Yeah.
I know there is a little bit more to it than just.
The last film she really, really hated, the last horror film, was Midsummer.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I can remember that we saw it at the cinema the day it released. Those were the days. And it was in the middle of the day because it was the only time we didn't have the kids. And, I've said before, I don't think it's as good as Hereditary.
Yeah.
But decent film. And it was quite empty. There was not a lot of people in there. There was loads of blokes on their own in there. And then there's me and my wife sitting there. And I could tell all the way through she didn't like it. And then we've come out and like people had like chatting about it. She just walked out and gone, "Well, that was shit."
Oh my God.
Like really loud, just in front of everyone. God. I said, don't embarrass me in front of the film nerds.
Yeah. God, that is harsh.
Yeah.
I certainly wouldn't say that. Yeah. But there we go. Right. Let's jump into some news, and yeah, we need to kick off with this because I am really excited for this. I want to know your thoughts on it. So the full official trailer has dropped for Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead, which is coming to Netflix. And as everyone is saying, as the article I sent you starts, very simply, 2 words: zombie tiger. Dude,
That's crossed the line.
what do you think of this?
Right. Honestly, when I was reading it, funnily enough, we've got 2 news items today featuring wrestlers. But
Yep.
when I was reading this, I was reading it and thinking, nah, this doesn't sound like my cup of tea.
Right.
And then
Okay.
I thought, well, reading it, seeing the trailer, will be better. So I started watching the trailer and I thought, no, I don't like the look of this. I don't, just
Right. Okay.
like a crime heist. Don't really like it. And
Okay. Okay.
when then the zombies come in, and I thought, no, still not doing it for me. But then when you see the first alpha zombie,
Yeah.
the woman in her like makeshift apocalyptic crown, as I thought, wow, really,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's actually offering something a little bit different. I'm not saying it's never been done before. You've had more intelligent zombies before, but having an actual hierarchy, I thought they're doing something different, and they're doing it in a way that's kind of, you can see they've evolved a bit. They've got the beginnings of like an organized
Yeah.
society. Not society is the wrong word, but an organized structure. I thought, yeah, I'll watch this, but honestly, I had extreme reservations before, but it's purely for me. It's purely that aspect that's piqued my interest in it.
So they released a teaser trailer for this a little while ago, and I've been up and down this because the first time I was aware of Zack Snyder, I think the first time a lot of people were aware of him was his remake of Dawn of the Dead,
Yeah.
which I thought was fantastic.
That was quite a while ago now, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, like 15 years or something ago. Yeah, it was like a long time ago.
Isn't that the one where one of the zombies does get a bit more intelligence? Just
I
one of them. I'm
can't
sure it
really
is.
remember.
He
I can't
starts
really
like
remember.
I might be thinking of the wrong film, but I'm
Oh
sure
no,
it's that
you're
one.
thinking of Land of the Dead.
I'm thinking of Land of the Dead. Yeah,
Yeah, that was one of Romario's last, wasn't it?
that was his. That was his last.
That was like his really big budget zombie
Yeah,
film.
because
Yeah,
I think
it was
Nick
good.
Frost and Simon Pegg had a small
Yeah, they
cameo
did.
in it.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that was good. That was good. But Zack Snyder's Dawn, I really liked it. I really liked. I think that was. I could be wrong on this, but I think that was the first time the like fast running zombies were introduced, and like that fucking blew people's minds, mine included. And if it wasn't the first time it was done, it was definitely the first time I had seen it, and I think a lot of people. So based on that, knowing Zack Snyder was going back to that, especially after all the trouble we had with Justice League and the personal issues he had faced and his wife had
Hmm.
faced.
Hmm.
Great, right? They're going back. They're doing where it kind of all started for them, really. So I was excited. Then they released a teaser trailer. Okay, not in love with it. Looks all right, but it's just teaser trailer, whatever. And then I see this trailer, and dude, this does work for me on every level. I really like the idea. I know you've just said you don't, but I really like the idea of the heist film. I'm a bit of a sucker for like the oceans films and any kind of like heist film or like bank robbery setup type thing. So I'm a bit of a sucker for that. And I like the idea that essentially when you think about it, this is an oceans film set in Las Vegas about stealing money from a big vault, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
But it's zombies. Like it's as simple as you get. I really like the look of it. I like the opening cinematography where Dave Bautista's working in the diner. I like the what didn't set me alight about the teaser trailer was I thought it was a little bit like Zack Snyder's stuff is very reliant on CGI And I was like, oh, okay, I don't know. But when you see the opening of this, you're like, oh no, it's quite, grounded, and there isn't a lot of CGI in the opening scenes and stuff like that. Obviously, you get the big cityscapes on fire and stuff like that, the CGI at the end, but that's fine. That's to be expected. But then, yeah, I like the group of people that are together. I like you said, the reveal shots, right? You got two big reveal shots in this. You've got the reveal shot of the Queen character, I guess we could call her, which I think her outfit is a showgirl's outfit, right? I think
Actually, yeah.
and
I mean, I'd assumed it was something she'd found and had taken. So no, you could be right there.
Yeah, see, it could be that as well, because it's got like spikes on it and stuff, and I don't know if showgirls would have that, but I do think it's a showgirl. And then when you see her with the guy, where there's loads of them, and then like she's with a guy and kissing the guy, I believe he is
David Copperfield.
He's David Copperfield. Yeah, he's Chris Angel. No, he is a Roman guard from Caesar's Palace.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I like, and then obviously you get the Elvis shot like later on, and then you get the tiger.
If that's true, I hope they don't overdo that, and I hope they just leave that in as like little nuggets.
Yeah,
you could find if you see
yeah.
them.
Yeah, don't even explain it. You just know it, right?
Yeah.
You see it and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it. But yeah, I really like the reveal shot of her. I love shots like that. I absolutely adore shots like that. They're like out of focus.
Yeah. That was the bit that drew me in. And it's funny you saying about the heist aspect. When I was reading it before I saw the trailer, that was the bit that I thought I would like, because I thought, man, zombies are everywhere.
Yeah.
Doesn't really offer anything new apart from a mashup of two genres, and that was the bit I was expecting to like. And when I saw the trailer, I thought that this isn't clicking with me. And I know you said you liked the group of people, but some of it was just jarring me. That it was just really obviously trying to tick certain stereotypical boxes, like the German guy who's the safecracker. Obviously, he's got to be the quirky one with his headphones around his neck. And I just thought, he's dressed up in like all but wearing a bow tie, and I just thought, I just felt like they were trying a bit too hard.
Yeah, I can see that. I can get on board with that. For me, I looked at it more as they were like playing into that stereotype of the Ocean's films, right? It's like, okay, what if we were making one of those films, but was the zombie apocalypse? So to me, it was playing into that. But yeah, I can see where you're coming from. I definitely can see where you're coming from.
I mean, to be fair, he was the only one who stood out for me. Stood out with that kind of thing. Everyone else, to me, looked like a convincing group that would be working together. Do you know what I mean? But he just really stood out. I mean, for Christ's sake, give him a black t-shirt like everyone else.
Yeah.
If he ain't got the muscles to be shirtless, at least give him dark colours like the rest of them.
Yeah. So come on, let's talk about the shot that everyone's talking about, the zombie tiger. Was you aware of that before you saw the trailer?
No,
I wasn't. How did you feel when that happened?
It reminds me of my cat Lucifer for a start. And like you've been noticing, I'm assuming it's one of the white tigers from Siegfried and Roy. I think it's good. I think you don't really see a lot of animals in it. You do see it occasionally, but I like how you've got this rudimentary society, and maybe they've got some guard animals, maybe they've got some hunter. I mean, you saw one zombie on a horse. I thought that was quite a good shot.
Yeah, I like that. I really like that. Yeah.
But
that reminded me of
I'm all for it. I mean,
White Walkers in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Where they've got their like zombie horses. Yeah, I thought it was a little bit like that.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, if you're gonna have zombie animals, then you have some fucking aggressive animals.
I
don't really want to see a zombie squirrels.
I really liked it. It really worked for me. That was the moment where I was really, really sold, because I was like, oh, okay, it's fun. It's really fun. Like, he is going to throw some shit in this that like you are gonna holler at the screen at, like that just worked for me. The zombie tiger thing, the cut to the line afterwards, it was great, man. And yeah, apparently, he has gone on record to say, zombie animals were always a part of this. The only animal that is immune are birds, apparently. So no zombie birds, but yeah, we've seen the horse. I guess that's a zombie horse. We've definitely seen the zombie tiger. I think we're going to see some other stuff. Yeah, I reckon there's going to be a few zombie animals running up and down the strip. Man, this has sold me. The only kind of weird caveat I have against this is this looks like a really fun film to watch with an audience of people and on a big screen, and it is just going straight to Netflix, which
yes,
it's weird. I sound really old saying this, but this is the type of film where I'm like, oh, maybe you should see this in a cinema. I don't know.
I wonder if there's a way that we and a few others could kind of like sync it, and like we're all on Zoom or something, but we sync it so we all press play at the same time or
That would be
something.
cool. That
That'd
would
be
be
quite
cool.
good.
Yeah, we should do it. Yeah. Or just do I like the idea of I've seen with the world opening back up and stuff like that, and from next month cinemas reopen and stuff. Obviously there's a lot of small screens and private cinemas and stuff that have lost a lot of business. And I've seen a few things pop up about people basically renting out, them screens for a couple of hours to do a Netflix film or whatever, right? It's a private event. You can show
That's
what you want.
interesting.
Yeah, it's not a public thing. So I like the idea of that. I think that would be quite interesting. We'll have to see what we can do. But yeah, dude, this looks a bunch of fun. And yeah, I can't wait. I can't
Awesome.
wait. All right, dude. Moving on from one zombie film onto the creator of possibly the biggest zombie franchise ever, Robert Kirkman, the creator of The Walking Dead. This news actually dropped a few years ago, but it's reared its head again, and I'm quite excited for it. So he is working with Universal on a kind of a Dracula film, but it's all centered around and it's the story of Renfield, which is Dracula's
Yep.
little minion, if you will. He's a
Yep.
henchman. If you have listened to the classic horror podcast episode on Dracula, you will know that I made no mistake that I absolutely adore Renfield. I am not, out of all the Universal Monster films, I am not a huge fan of that film, surprisingly, but I am a massive, massive, massive fan of Renfield. So the idea of that character getting its own spin-off, Robert Kirkman involved, Chris McKay involved. Yeah, I'm quite excited about this. So what do you think, dude? What's your relationship with? Obviously, you're a massive Walking Dead fan, so Robert Kirkman, I know that excites you. But what about Dracula in general? I'm not really
I'm a
sure about
massive,
the genre.
I'm a massive Dracula fan, as you know, a lot of people are. But I mean, Dracula as a novel is one of my favourites, and
Yeah.
that I know quite intimately. Big fan of Renfield as well as a character, and I've seen him in different films. Sometimes he's quite a sympathetic character. Other times he has actually been turned.
Yeah.
So they can play around with it all different ways. But I have reservations here.
Okay.
The first thing that annoyed me was when it said, I was reading, it said the character is memorably played, and I thought, yeah, memorably played by Tom Waits in 1992. That's what I'm on. I know Renfield from, but the reservations I have is the guy who writes for Rick and Morty has written the script,
Yeah.
and Chris McKay, the director of the Lego Batman movie.
Yeah.
This rings alarm bells for me in terms of
Okay.
a kind of presumably a horror film series, whatever it is.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from with that because obviously Rick and Morty and the Lego Batman
It
movie
doesn't mean
are
it's going to be that way. I mean, there's plenty of
no, it
people who
doesn't.
have
Of
done
course, it doesn't.
comedy things and then made a transition over and done phenomenally well. But it just sticks out to me.
It's an
I
interesting
wouldn't.
choice.
And it is an interesting choice. It is an interesting choice. I mean, Ryan Ridley. I mean, I don't know how involved he is with Rick and Morty episode by episode, because obviously
Yeah.
cartoon series have loads of writers.
Of course.
But the writing in Rick and Morty is very, very intelligent. I love
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
logic to Rick Sanchez and his kind of pessimism about everything. I love that, and I love the science they bring to it. So whoever's writing Rick and Morty is very clever, and it's also very funny. The Lego Movie is very funny, but I don't want to see a funny Renfield. So that, and I'm not saying
No, I
it
agree
is,
with that.
but
Yeah.
that's where, if you look at the history of those guys, that's where, what, I don't even know the history, what they're choosing to promote about them. That just jars a bit with me.
There is, if I can play devil's advocate for a minute, there is something comical about Renfield, though. If you are going back to the portrayal they reference with Dwight Fry, the absolutely mesmerizing and brilliant Dwight Fry from 1931's Dracula. I'm a huge, again, if you've listened to that podcast, you know what a massive fan of Dwight Fry I am. In my opinion, it is the best performance I've ever seen of Renfield. But there is something a little bit comedic about it, as there was, in all those Universal monster films, there is a little bit of a comedic undertone to some of those characters. There's Renfield in Dracula and a couple of the characters in Bride of Frankenstein, the Invisible Man, stuff like that. You've always got a character that's a little bit. The difference is it's never really the main character, right? So, yeah, how do you bring that, if they are leaning into a little bit of that comedy edge, which is a darker comedy. It isn't, slapstick. It is a darker comedy, but that is interesting to me. How do you lean into that as your main character? Because really you want this film to be quite dark, right? Like I can't really see how you do it without being dark. And then spinning off from that, the question I will ask you, how do you tell this story with Dracula as a side character, or do you somehow leave Dracula out of it completely?
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, you could have two things, couldn't you? It could be like, well, three things. It could be completely before Dracula, leading up to him meeting him. It could be talk about how he was seduced by Dracula and turned, or it could be post Dracula, as if he wasn't in the asylum. I don't think it's going to be leading up to, because Robert Kirkman is obviously known for a very supernatural series. So I can't imagine he's going to want to work on something that doesn't have some sort of
I agree.
monster of some description. So I do wonder if it's going to be the seduction of him set in a modern time. How this guy, a very serious solicitor, is seduced by this guy to become his slave, essentially. And I wonder if it's going to be that. The danger there is, obviously Dracula's such a domineering, well-known character.
Yeah.
How do you stop the interest moving to him? That would be the difficulty, if it is that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. I think there's a few interesting angles they could take with this. I could even see him telling a very dark, like, love story between them, because that's something like we've never really got with Dracula too much. Is like he's the master of like seduction, right? And we always see that portrayed with women, but not really the male side of it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he falls in love with one of the brides of Dracula, and they
Interesting.
try and escape together, and
Yeah, I am interested to see where this goes. I think, like, everyone involved, like you said, maybe a bit of an odd choice. Ryan Ridley, Rick and Morty is
decent
very well
people, very, I love
yes,
their work.
yes, and Chris McKay, again, the Lego Batman, but the Lego Batman movie is fantastic. Like
exactly,
it's really, really good. And in terms of this, I tell you, this is what I end on. The adaption of the dark Batman character into the Lego Batman movie and where they play with that is very fun. And I do really like it. Now, I'm not saying I want the exact same transition with the Renfield character, but in terms of like Chris McKay's understanding of the legend and the lore and the myth that comes with a certain character and being able to play with that, I think he's definitely proven himself that he can do that. So yeah, I'll be very interested to see where this goes. And again, that's not even mentioning Robert Kirkman, who he's done outstanding work.
Legendary.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, not just The Walking Dead. Like, you just look at his comic work in general. Great stuff. Really, really great stuff. Yeah, dude, we'll leave that one there, put a pin in it, and hopefully come back to it. Like I said, it's kind of been around for a couple of years now, so I'm hoping now that it's come back up, it's gonna start moving forward. I'd be very interested to see if it does. All right, dude, moving on to, so this is a bit of a weird topic for the podcast. We don't really, we've kind of touched on distribution a little bit before, but
yeah,
I really, really want to bring this up because this could be the future of not just art, not just filmmaking, but art in general. So Kevin Smith has made a new horror movie called Kilroy Was Here. And he has made the decision to sell the entire film, the master of the film and the distribution rights of the film, everything, absolutely everything that is within this film, for full ownership as an NFT. Now, before I sent you this, were you aware of what an NFT was?
I was, yeah, but only fairly recently because there seems to be an explosion of it around like digital art lately.
Yes, yeah. So do you want to, very briefly, let's touch on that. So do you just want to touch on your understanding of NFT and, just so the boys and girls out there listening can have an idea if they don't know what an NFT is?
Yeah, my understanding is that, well, apparently now you can apply it to any digital means, but in terms of art, based on the technology of cryptocurrency, it's the idea that you sell the rights to a digital painting by you send someone a token, a code, if you like, that proves their ownership, and the code can be sent on and on. So you form a chain of, you can see ownership all the way back to the original person. So if you're selling digital art, in 40 years' time, when an artist has died, you can trace back, this is actually the one. I still, I understand the concept, but practically how that works, I find difficult. If you're selling, someone says, okay, here's a picture of this digital art that was sold. Well, now I've got it as well. I mean, I know I don't own it, and yet I've got it. I can still see it. I can see it anytime I like because you've shown a picture of this record-breaking 20 million piece that was sold. Or do you know what I mean? So I think it's interesting. I think it's exciting as a concept, but I think it's very early days.
Oh, it's very early days, yeah.
I think the boom in it will subside. I think it's a bit like, when 3D TV came out. It's great in concept, but it never really took.
Yeah.
And I wonder if this may be a bit too early for this to be happening. But what I would say is good on Kevin Smith for dipping his toe in this, because as far as I'm aware, he's the first person to actually do this for a film.
Yeah, I believe he is. And it doesn't surprise me. I should just state that NFT stands for non-fungible token. Or before I get on to Kevin Smith, so let me touch on the NFT thing a little bit and what I think of it. So yeah, a few months ago when this really started blowing up, because there was a lot of people, like you said, selling digital art, and for record-breaking feats, in the millions. The artist Grimes, she sells a lot of art like this. Lindsay Lohan done some stuff for charity, and so on. And it's all around ownership. It's, some people reveal what you're gonna get. Grimes, I don't think does. I don't think she reveals, like, I don't think she shows images of her art. I think she releases it in collections. So she's like, this is the collection, and there's 10 pieces, and go. You can, it starts off at the cheapest and then to the most expensive bit of art, and then you own that. My understanding of NFTs is it all started in the music space. The people that made it as a way of giving real ownership back to artists, where they could produce an album and then sell it directly onto fans. I believe Kings of Leon just released their latest album this way, where you can still go and get it normally. I'm sure you could find their album on Spotify or whatever, but then there's like limited edition stuff. So there might be an extra song in there, or an extra like artwork or whatever it is. And in some cases, the only way to experience or to play that song is, through ownership, right? So you can't, well, once you own it, based on, I don't know, whatever license you buy or something like that, then you can do what you want with it. And that brings us around to this. So Kevin Smith has said that he's quite excited about the idea of NFTs, and he is selling Kilroy Was Here to one buyer. So this isn't a mass distribution by Kevin Smith. This isn't like, you basically rent the film or buy the film and that's your copy. He is selling the entire thing to the highest bidder. And with that, they can either, and he's gone on record and said this, they can either keep the film for themselves, so they are the only person in the world that has it until they want to sell it on, or they can distribute the film. So this could be the way that a distributor, and ends up buying the film, and then, from there, it's just normal, right? They just put it out normally. Or you could see it like we've seen a couple of times in the music world, where someone very rich comes in and buys an album, or in this case, buys a film, and they're the only person that has it. And, no one else ever gets to see it. That is quite controversial, I think, because to me, film especially, or any art in my opinion, but film especially, should be seen by as many people as possible. I'm not sure how on board I am with the idea of one person buying this and just
keeping it
for themselves and owning it outright. I don't know. I just think that's a little bit of a disservice to everyone involved as well, is like not being able to see the work they put in.
But you kind of, well, I would hope that in that situation, if they if they intend to not distribute it somehow, then you would hope that Kevin Smith would reserve the right to have a copy of the film that he can show for himself and friends and family or something.
No, I don't think so. Well, yeah, probably for like friends and family, but in terms of like public exhibition,
oh no, he wouldn't have it.
No, which is interesting, man. I mean, it's funny because, a few months ago when I really read into this and it started doing the rounds, I think it was after Grimes released the collection, I put a tweet out and I said, how long until this comes into the film world? Is this the future of, I thought, film financing? Like, could you, in the Kickstarter way, right, of like, you go and finance the film by people investing in the film and then they get to see it? Or what if now you've done that as ownership? So you say, okay, here's this NFT of, this new film I'm going to make, whatever. And you buy in advance. You kind of like pre-buy it in advance, but loads of people can buy it. And then when we make it, you now all have digital copies of it, which you own that copy. That is your copy to own. And if you now want to sell that on the blockchain, you can. So you could invest in getting this film made, but you could also make money by selling it on. And for shorts, I guess that is kind of, I doubt there's a lot of profit in that, but for feature films there could be a decent bit of profit in that, right? Because based on like the success of that feature film, being able to sell copies of that on, if it was only available as an NFT, there's no DVD, there's no Blu-rays, the only way to see that film is by purchasing the NFT. And the other thing is, like, you can limit to this to whatever you want. It can be unlimited, or, and again, this is just my understanding, I could be wrong on this, but I believe you can do what you want with it. So the creator can, like Kevin Smith has shows, there is one NFT, and whoever buys that can do whatever they want with it. Or there's 100 people can own it, or it's unlimited, right? But I believe it's only sold for a certain amount of time. So I believe that, like, I'm not sure what I don't know if you can decide on that, but for argument's sake, let's say 72 hours. So you can buy this NFT for 72 hours, and then after that, no more NFTs will ever be produced for, the whatever that product is. I don't know, man. I mean,
it's still a very strange concept to me. Like, if I take it back to art, if I'm a digital artist let's say I draw a house, and I then sell it as an NFT. It's not mine anymore, and yet I've still got it on my computer.
Yeah, yeah,
It's very. I just don't get it. I'm just gonna throw in maybe a slightly controversial angle.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Do it.
this is no disrespect to Kevin Smith, but if I were a cynic, and I'm not saying I am, his recent films haven't been massive successes. Could he
No,
be going
no.
down this route because he doesn't have confidence that he'll find a distributor for his film?
Possibly, possibly. I mean, that wouldn't surprise me. I mean, Kevin Smith has always kind of been on. In all honesty, what he probably does do even better than making films is he's kind of at the forefront of distribution in a lot of ways. As in,
Yeah,
he is probably the most famous overnight success story, right? He
yep,
made Clerks on a bunch of credit cards with a bunch of friends in the convenience store he worked, and then he took it to Sundance and sold it to you know who for a bunch of money. And then years and years later, he made, was it, I think it was Red State, where again he took it to Sundance, and then during what should have been the bidding for the film at Sundance, he announced that he had purchased it himself. So he had purchased it himself, and now he would be taking it on a kind of like road show tour
yep,
where every night he would sell tickets where you would get to watch the film, and then also there'd be a Q&A afterwards. And he'd done that in quite a few countries across the world, and then I think arranged distribution after that. So
yeah,
he's always kind of been at the forefront of these ideas of, okay, how do you kind of change the game a little bit, and then people try and follow him afterwards. And I think the fact that he's done this before anyone else, that doesn't surprise me too much. But I think you might be right, his latest films haven't been that much a success. So I don't know. It would be, yeah. It's weird because we're not even talking about the film. We're not even talking about the film because, and
yeah,
this is why I said it's
yeah.
not something we usually talk about because it's purely the
I mean,
distribution side of it.
and just to bring it back around, the film is a comedy horror film. He's made
Yes,
some
it
very
is. Yeah,
strange comedy horror films. I
yeah,
mean, but
yeah,
to be fair to him, he makes the films he wants to make.
yeah. Which
Not.
I do
Well, I don't
like.
know why I sounded like a Brooklyn. He makes
Yeah,
the films he wants to make. I don't know why I added the extra S's, but do you know what I mean? He makes the films for
yeah,
himself.
it does. Yeah,
What he sees is what he makes, and he's doing something quite innovative here. All you can do is applaud that.
yeah, yeah.
Whether it's the right decision, time will
It's going
tell.
to be
But
interesting, man.
I'm really cautious about the whole thing until it's probably because I don't understand it properly. But
Yeah, yeah. So what I will say, just to end it, is I will link the official trailer. There is a trailer that actually came out a little while ago, a couple of months ago. This on Kevin Smith's official YouTube channel. Yeah, it looks all right. It's kind of like an anthology film, different stories. I think they might come together or whatever. So yeah, I mean, it looks okay. Usual Kevin Smith players, Jason Mewes, Chris Jericho is in it. It was in his last film. His daughter, obviously, isn't it? So yeah, usual players. If you like Kevin Smith stuff, you probably are gonna like this, especially if you've stayed through the not so successful films. I would like to see it, just touching on the film. Yeah, of course I would. I kind of like some of it. I really like Red State. I quite like Tusk. I'd be interested to see what he does with
Tusk
it.
was weird, wasn't it?
Yeah, very weird, man. But
I
I
quite
kind of
liked
like
it
it.
as well.
Yeah, Michael Parks, just you can't go wrong with Michael Parks. He absolute legend. Yeah, I'm interested to see where this goes. But yeah, the reason I mainly wanted to bring this up was, could we be seeing the change in distribution here? Is this the way
Yeah,
people are gonna? And I think more so than, we're talking Kevin Smith. He's a very, very famous filmmaker, but I think this could play into the hands of indie filmmakers a little bit more. Be interesting, man. Be interesting to see
yeah,
what
yeah,
they do with this. This kind of, I think selling a product and making it very exclusive is very, very popular in the last few years. Only
yeah,
certain people being able to have a good few years ago when I was in LA, there was this tiny, tiny little clothes shop, and there was a queue down the block. Queue, like the longest queue I've ever seen for a clothes shop, and I had no idea what it was. And it was the brand Supreme, which, you know, fucking loads of people wear Supreme and hugely popular brand. And one of the things they done, which was really, really successful, is you literally had to queue to get in their shops. They would have a fucking bouncer on the door, and they would only let certain people in at a time. So they made it this like exclusive thing, right? It's like this exclusive club to get in. And, you know, if you see someone wearing a Supreme t-shirt, you know, especially one that's sold at one of these like exclusive events, then you know they were part of this like weird exclusive club in a way. Yeah, I kind of, you know, we've seen that bleed into art a little bit. We've seen that bleed into music with secret gigs and stuff like that. And, you know, where all of a sudden this surprise gig happens and it's like, oh, okay, no one knew that was happening, but you get to tell the story of this rare gig that you saw. Yeah, are we now seeing it come into film? And is this the way it's coming into film? Possibly.
It
Possibly,
could be,
man.
yeah. And this is the very beginning, so you know it's exciting if nothing else.
Yeah, let's end it there. That's ultimately why I brought it up. I think it, regardless of controversy, and I think there is some controversy involved in this. Yeah, I think it is quite exciting, isn't it? It's quite exciting to
Yeah,
see
I
where this
think
could
so.
go, man, in the next couple of years.
But it could be like the next generation. You know, it could be a strange concept to them that the film isn't distributed that way.
Yeah, yeah. And also this, I know I just said we're in there, but could this also be the new like collectible for you know, people that consider themselves real film fans, right? Like we all, instead of just having it streaming, we go out and buy the Blu-ray because we want the special features, or we buy a special edition because it's got some special edition artwork, or, you know, I'm a real sucker for that shit, I'll admit it. Is this the new way of
I
doing
bet
that?
there's films you've got about 4 times, Scott.
Oh yeah, there is. Yeah. The Universal Monster stuff, man. I've got loads of. I've got a box set that's in a coffin. I've got steel books with Alex Ross artwork. Man, of course I'm a sucker
Ain't
for
got
that
an
shit.
NFT code yet, though, have you? Not
Oh,
yet, anyway.
I will have. Fucking come on, Universal, pull your finger out.
But
But
that's the thing.
is that the future?
Everyone's gonna be watching this, aren't they?
Yeah, of
The
course they are.
industry to
Yeah,
see how's this gonna play out. Who's gonna
yeah.
make the first move?
Is this the future of, maybe you don't do a Kevin Smith and sell the whole film? Let's say right. So for argument's sake, we make Walking Against the Rain. We put Walking Against the Rain out. It comes out in theaters, right, or DVD or VOD, whatever, right? But people get to see it just in general, like usual. But if you want a copy of that film, instead of that being DVD or Blu-ray, or you want a special edition version of that film with the deleted scenes, maybe an alternative ending, you know, maybe some art by a famous artist, you buy the NFT,
I think you should do it.
right? Is
I
that,
think you should
and
do it.
you limit it. There's only 250 copies.
Not the
250
be all
copies.
and end all.
No,
Just a very
just
specific. If you
yeah.
want it, here it is.
Yeah. And you know, and it's, if you want it, you go and buy it, right? And it's all,
How
yeah. I
about
mean, could
an
be interesting,
NFT
dude.
where all dialogue is done with a Welsh accent? You know,
Why
if
not?
you want it,
Why
you can
not?
buy it.
Why not? South African. South African. The whole film is redubbed
The,
with a
the
South African
hardest
accent.
accent known to man.
Go on.
I can't do it.
Oh.
Cannot do a South African. I
Oh, I
try.
thought you were like, I thought you
No, I
were.
end up sounding like a cross between someone from Newcastle via Mumbai or something. I can't do it at all.
I thought you were building us up there for your
No, God,
amazing
God,
South
no.
African accent.
I cannot do South African at all.
Right. That is where we're ending it. I promise. That is where we're ending it. Moving on. Right. This is, oh God, right. Creepy link of the week.
We're getting the meat out.
God damn, Chris.
Do you like Garfield and do you like lasagna?
I love lasagna.
Oh,
I do like Garfield. I haven't watched Garfield in donkey's years, but yes, as a kid, I very much like Garfield. I was a big fan of Garfield. I'm a huge lasagna fan. And you may have just ruined all of that.
not me, Scott. Not
No,
me.
not you. Yeah, I
Um,
not you. Go on, Chris, introduce it. Creepy
So
link.
as I said when I sent this over to you, I really wasn't planning on doing yet another Meat Canyon this quickly, but he's just released this. It's his latest video, and it's fantastic. In my opinion, wait and see what you think about it, but it's a take on Garfield. It's called Lasagna. Scott, what did you think?
This is something, man. This did not go the way I thought this was going to go.
I was expecting like a really twisted looking Garfield. I wasn't what it is. I wasn't expecting.
Right, that's exactly it. And this is the thing. This might be the shortest segment we've ever recorded on the Creepy Link. Because no, I don't want to give anything away. But this was not what I was expecting. Right, I'm not saying anything about Garfield. I'm not. I'm just not saying it because when you listen to this, you need to click that link and you need to watch this like I did, not knowing anything about Garfield. What I will say is, once again, the dude's production, the way he sets stuff up, the creepy factor is through the roof, man. The way it, and this ain't giving anything away because this is literally the very start of the thing, but the way he flips between what looks like, traditional Garfield animation.
Yeah, that was really cool, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then his animation style, because that was the weird thing when it starts. I'm like,
it looks
this
like
is different.
Yeah,
this is different. This is like a normal cartoon. This isn't his style. Oh no, we get there. Like, we get to his style, and that's part of the fucking story he sets up, man. Dude, like, yeah, this is killer.
Do you know what?
This could be the creepiest.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, do you know what did it for me? I mean, because on the face of it, it's what he does. But what did it for me was, it's not too much of a stretch to think this could happen.
Yeah. It's not that. Oh, do you know? Right, I can't give it away because
there's nothing supernatural in it.
No, there's nothing supernatural, but it reminds me. I do think there's some influences there, but again, I don't want to say them on air because it then might give away what happens in this thing. So this is what I'll say. When we finish recording, Chris, I'll talk to you about it. But after you guys and girls out there and you listen to this podcast, if you want to engage with us and have a proper discussion about it, let's do it on Twitter, right? Let's get a dialogue going about what really I think the influences are here. And there is one of my favorite extreme horror films of all time, I think, is an influence on this. Yeah, dude, this is the creepiest one he's ever done, right? That we've watched.
Yeah,
is there one that's creepier? There's like some outrageous ones. Outrageous ones, but is there any that are really?
I don't know. I mean, the other one that I found really creepy. The ones that we've done on here, they've all been creepy for different reasons.
Yeah,
like
that's true.
We did Secret Formula that had kind of sexual overtones to it with the SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh yeah,
the Teletubbies
one. That's the one.
Like
the Teletubbies one.
That was awful in a good way.
The Teletubbies one is probably the one that would go toe and toe with this. Is the creepiest in my opinion.
But watch them back to back.
Oh, do it. Yeah, no, seriously, guys, check this one out. It is going to creep the hell out of you, especially if you have some form of history with Garfield. And then come and engage with us on Twitter. Let's get a dialogue going about it, because this is something.
I might email him and say, look, come on our podcast, because
mate, I would love it. I would love it. I would love it. Let's try.
First question: what's wrong with you?
Yeah, what's wrong with you? What happened to you as a child?
Were you not hugged enough? Were you hugged too much?
Did you grow up in the woods in like a lonely cabin?
Gosh.
Dude, let's do it. Let's try and get that going. I think people would love that. Let's try and let's try and get something going with him. That'd be awesome. All right, dude. Let's cut it there. You have outdone yourself again.
Thank you.
Like, really, I know I say that a lot, but this one, fuck me, you did. Like this got me. This really, really got me. All right, dude, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining me once again. Everyone that's listening to this, whether it be YouTube or Spotify, Anchor, Google, wherever you pick up your podcast, thank you so much for continuing to support us. And until next week, Horror Hounds, stay very, very safe.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.